Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यं भगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे. Let's begin with a bhajan. Very famous bhajan, Bhaja Govindam by Sripad Adi Shankaracharya. It's a long bhajan, so we will be doing a few verses and rest we will do it in the next class. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःखं करणे नहि नहि रक्षति दुःखं करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मूढजने धनागमतृष्णां मूढजने धनागमतृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपातं यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदयचेतं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते यावदीप्तोपासनशक्तः सावन्निजपरिवारो रतः यावदीप्तोपासनशक्तः सावन्निजपरिवारो रतः पश्चाद्जीवति जठरगो कोऽपि न पृच्छति देहे स्वतं कोऽपि गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालाचालम् मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालाचारम् मायामयम् अखिलं विश्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वां परिशाविदिता ब्रह्मपदं त्वां प्रविशाविदिता भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सुरमण्डिरतरुमूलनिवास शय्याभूतला मजिनं वासः सुरमण्डिरतरुमूलनिवास शय्याभूतला मजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगज सर्वपरिग्रह भोगज तस्य सुखं रसकोटिविरागः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Translation. So remaining verses we'll do it in the next class because it's too long. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Oh fools, rules of grammar will not save you at the time of your death. So what rules are we talking about? The rules of grammar. Grammar means the rules of the material world. The karma, the law of karma that we have and the law of material world that we have, right? All of these will not save you at the time of your death. That means, whatever karma you've done, whether it is pious or bad, right? Good or bad, you have to face the reaction. You have to come back to this world and face the reaction. You do not have any, second way or you cannot escape, right? But this is for fools, right? But people can escape. How? By worshipping Govinda. What does Krishna say? Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami mashucha, right? So I will take away all your sinful reactions, right? That's what Krishna says. You will not have any karma left to face in this world. I will take it away, right? Mokshishyami mashucha. And I will liberate you, right? He will give us moksha. That's what Krishna says, right? So when you worship Govinda, all we have to do is to become his devotee. When we become his devotee, then he will save us from all the rules of grammar. No karma, nothing. Nothing can even touch us. Okay, we rise above all this. We become transcendental. When we worship somebody who is transcendental, we also become transcendental. Right? So that's what even Prabhupada explains in the purport, in Bhagavatam purport. Right? So again, oh fool, give up your thirst to amass wealth. Devote your mind to thoughts to the real. Be content with what comes through actions already performed in the past. Right? Again, Shankaracharya says we are fools. Why we are fools? Because we are, spending our time so much in, in accumulating wealth. See, for our life, how much ever is needed, that much wealth, if we work hard for, that is enough. But people have this habit of becoming more rich, no? They compare themselves with others or they heighten their desires, right? If they are having say they are having a nice car now. No, they're not happy with that. They want a latest model car, right? These models keep coming and going, right? But we shouldn't be carried away with all that. So they want latest model car, which is costlier than what they have presently. So they work harder to get that money and get a newer car. So this is called waste of time and energy, right? And this wealth, no, accumulating wealth and keeping it in your house is not going to help us from death. You cannot say, okay, I have so much money, I'll give you money. You cannot tell that to death, no? and say, okay, death, go away, I will give you so much money. Death will not listen. Yamaraj is not going to listen, right? Everybody who is going to be born has to die, right? One day. So what are we supposed to do? Instead of wealth, accumulating wealth, we have to devote our thoughts to the real, that is Krishna. This is all temporary. This is not real. Maya Shakti, right? The only absolute truth is Krishna, right? He is Param Satya, right? And be content with what comes through the actions already performed in the past. This is the karma reactions. If we've done good things, we'll get good reactions to face. If we've done sins, we will get sinful reactions to face. Do not lament when you have sufferings in your life, because you're the reason for the sufferings, right? Because you've performed some bad karma, papa karma, that's why you are suffering now. Those reactions you are facing now, right? You might not have committed any sin now in this life, but in your previous janmas, we have so many janmas, right? 84 lakh species, right? So in those janmas, in whenever you've gotten human form of life, you would have committed sins, and those reactions you will have to face now, right? So that's why we shouldn't lament, because now we know, right? It's we are the reason, we are the cause of our sufferings. Nobody else is the cause. We are our own cause, right? Because we've done sinful activities, we have to suffer. So, as long as a man is fit and able to support his family, see the affection all those around him show. But no one at home cares to even have a word with him when his body totters due to old age. Right? So, he is so everybody, everybody is like, as long as you're able to contribute to the family, everybody respects you, values you, and all that. But once you become old, and once you reach a position where the family has to take care of you, how many people take care? No, right? They will not. They will be like, oh, we have our own life, we cannot devote time for you. That's how old age people are treated, right? So there is no point going behind these bodily material bondage and relationships and prioritizing them over Krishna, right? That is what Shankaracharya is trying to tell us here, right? All the relationships that come in the material world, that fall in the material world, are based on the foundation called benefits. Okay, if you are able to give them what they want, they will respect you, they will give you what you want. Otherwise, they will also stop, right? It's business, it's not love. Love doesn't exist in the material world. It's just pure business, right? So that's why we have to rather start worshipping the Lord. The Lord doesn't expect anything from you. He is a giver. Everything he has to give us. We cannot even give him anything, right? We can't give him anything, and he doesn't even expect anything from us. He just wants love and affection. That's all, right? But that we are not respecting. We are just concerned about the people around us. So we need to come out of this illusion. This is called illusion. This is called Maya, right? And do not boast of wealth, friends, and youth. Youth, because all of us become old. Wealth, I already told you about wealth. Friends and family members, we already discussed. So each one of these are destroyed within a moment. When you die, we all die, right? Mrityu sarva harashyaham, Krishna says, right, in Bhagavad Gita. So when we die, the all these relationships come to an end, right? All of these relationships come to an end within a moment. So free yourself from the illusion of the world of Maya and attain the timeless truth. Timeless truth is Krishna himself, right? And take, yeah, take your residence in a temple or below a tree, wear the deerskin for the dress, and sleep with Mother Earth as your bed. Give up all attachments and renounce all comforts. Blessed with such vairagya, could anyone fail to be content? So vairagya is important. Vairagya is not always going to the forest and leaving our house and all that. Vairagya is, even if you have money, even if you have nice property and all the wealth that in the world, you need to, live in an attitude that, okay, this is all given to me from by Krishna, and I'm using it for serving Krishna, and nothing belongs to me. It all belongs to him, right? That is called vairagya. Being unattached, although you are amidst all the wealth and money and comforts and everything, right? That is called Krishna consciousness, and that is what we got to aim at. That develops when we all reach the mode of goodness, right? So on that note, let's begin Narasimha Avatar from wherever we stopped. Yeah, so here Hrad is educating all his members, right? I mean, his friends, whenever their guru go for a break, in their break time. So instead of asking them to play, Prahlad says, "Come sit. I will go. I will explain you about Krishna consciousness." Right. So he starts lecturing. He starts giving them knowledge. So what he says, right? So he starts saying the human form of life affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. Right. Therefore, every living entity, especially in the human form of life, must engage in devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This devotional service is natural because Lord Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, is most beloved, the master of the soul, and the well-wisher of all other living beings. Right. So it's very nice. See, there's an example. Okay. So say you have a nice iPhone. You've given like lakhs of rupees and you've bought it. Okay. You like it so much and it is latest. It is very nice. Okay. Say you're in office, say there is fan on, okay, high speed, and all the files and papers next to you are all flying off because of the fan. Okay, so you take the iPhone and you keep it on the papers and use it as a paperweight. Okay, imagine you're doing that. Okay, paperweight, you can even give 10 rupees and use buy a paperweight and use it as a paperweight. Right, you don't have to give lakhs of rupees, buy an iPhone and then use it as a paperweight, right? So what does this mean? The purpose of iPhone is something else. It is to call, right? Attend calls, messages, right? And use internet, everything else, right? iPhone has a specific purpose. It's a higher purpose. M- iPhone can also be used as a paperweight, but that is a secondary purpose. The higher purpose is something else, right? Receiving calls and all this. Right, that is what iPhone is made for. Not just iPhone, any phone for that matter. Phone is made for receiving calls, messaging, and all that. If you use that for torch or paperweight or something like that, these are all secondary purposes. The primary purpose is making calls, right? That is the purpose of phone. In the same way, human body is meant to go back home, back to Godhead. There's nothing else that we need to use our human body for. Human body is meant to go back home, back to Godhead. It is meant for self-realization. A dog cannot chant. A cat cannot chant. Right? Humans can only chant. If you go explain Bhagavad Gita to a cat, the cat will not understand. We can understand. Why? Because we are blessed with higher intelligence. And what are we doing with that higher intelligence? Right? If we also live like cats and dogs and hogs, right? Just eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, right? What is the whole purpose of the human form of life? It's exactly equal to using an iPhone as a paperweight and nothing more than that, right? So we need to use what we are supposed to use it for. The human body is for that purpose, for self-realization, to become a devotee, to serve the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead, right? Human tongues can chant. Dogs also have tongue. Can they chant? No. We have tongue, right? So if we also don't chant, what is the difference between our tongue and a dog's tongue? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yes or no? So let's distinguish our tongue from the animal's tongue, okay, by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So every day we need to chant. Okay, regularity is very important. This is what Prahlad is explaining to all the children there, right? Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. And if one's endeavors are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the four purusharthas we all live for, right? Dharma is the occupation. When you do your occupation, what do you get? You get money, artha, right? That is economic development. And when you get money, what do? You do sense gratification, right? Whatever desires you have, you will get it fulfilled using the money, right? And when you are done with all the sense gratificatory activities, once you are completely done with all that, tired of all this, what do you look for? Moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Right? Kama is sense gratification, and then moksha is liberation from all this. Right? These are the four four purusharthas. But all of these will not give us the ultimate benefit or the eternal happiness. Right? That's what Prahlad is trying to explain. It's all mental, material happiness, flickering happiness, temporary happiness, right? But no actual profit. But if one's endeavors are directed towards Krishna, then you will attain the real eternal happiness, which doesn't flicker. It's permanent, right? Dharma prochita kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam, right? That means Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It lies beyond. That means pastimes of the Lord, Krishna, Krishna Katha. All of these things lie beyond the four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So our aim is supposed to be beyond moksha. You might ask, what is beyond moksha? Moksha is what we all aim for, right? Liberation. Liberation from material world is not all. Liberation from material world should take you to Vaikunta, right? And you cannot enter Vaikunta if you've not worshipped the Lord. And where will you be? You will be in hanging position, neither in Vaikunta nor on material world. You can imagine what kind of a state that is, right? It's horrible. It's horrible. And what do? We get tired living in that state. We do not know what to do, and we fall back. We fall down back to this earth, this material world, and we again continue with our karmic activities, right? So where is it leading us, right? So moksha is not one and all. Beyond moksha lies Vaikunta, Goloka, Krishna. So aim for Krishna, not nothing else, right? That is what we got to aim at. And Krishna also says, right, yat karoshi yat dashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyatu kaunteya tad tad arpana madarpanam tat kurushva madarpanam, right? So what he says, he says, whatever you do, eat, drink, give in charity, take as gift, whatever you do in life, whatever you do it as an offering unto me, Arjuna, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Right? Even any austerity that you perform, chanting is an austerity. Whatever you do it as an offering unto me. Okay? Even eating also do it as an offering unto me. So we need to offer the food we eat and then eat. Right? Otherwise, we are consuming sins. Krishna says in 3rd chapter, 13th shloka, Bhagavad Gita, right? So we have to do everything for him, nothing for ourselves, right? Because he's Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. He is the enjoyer, he is the benefactor. And we are enjoyed. We are supposed to give enjoyment to Krishna. That is why we are created. We are made for that purpose. Okay? So therefore, while in material existence, a person fully competent to distinguish wrong from right must endeavor to achieve the highest goal of life, as long as the body is stout and strong and is not embarrassed by dwindling. Right? So, this is what we all forget. We all think, okay, this is how it is. Permanently, we make plans to live here. Right? We do not even think about old age. And old age people do not think about death. Right? So, they think, okay, this is going to be my permanent abode. I will start making plans here, right? So that is the problem, forgetfulness. We are not aware of the real truth. Real truth is very bitter, that this body ends. This body, material body, ends. Material body is like a clothes, right? For soul. It's like a dress. The soul, once the soul is not happy with the dress, say the dress is torn or becomes contaminated, becomes dirty or something. What do? We usually change our dress, right? Otherwise, we don't wear the torn dress and stay all the day, right? All day. So we go change our dress, right? Same way, if the body is not fit enough for the soul to perform its activities, the soul changes the body, just like how we change our dress, goes and takes another dress, right? Same way. So that's why all the body, every material body in this world has an end. Okay, so we need to remember that. We need to remember that. Ki, this is not permanent. Nothing is permanent here. As long as I'm in this body, I will get to enjoy all this. Next, when I change, God knows what kind of body we will get. What if we get a pig's body? We'll start eating shit, right? Filth, all the time eating filth, living in filth, right? So this is what is like an alarm for us to remind ourselves that this is not what we are situated here for. We are situated here to offer devotional service to the Lord, become a better human being, become a devotee, and go back to the Lord once for all. Once for all. Right? So Prahlad continued, my dear friends, if you can place your faith in my words, simply by that faith, you can also understand transcendental knowledge. So he's saying, this is the first quality for a listener. We all listen to classes, lectures, and all, senior Vaishnavas and all, right? They come and lecture and all that. So the basic ingredient is the listener should have sincerity, okay? Should have faith in the words of the lecturer, speaker, right? We need to believe what the speaker is trying to convey. We need to understand, have faith, right? Take it to our heart, not just take it to our ears and forget it. We have to take it to our heart, meditate upon it. All right. The motivation shouldn't go after you go home from the lecture. That motivation shouldn't go, right? It should stay. It should stay for all, right? The Prabhupada used to use this quote saying, stay high forever. To the all the hippies used to get drug addicted, right? Why do they get drug addicted? Because they wanted happiness. Drugs will give you happiness, right? So and then after some time, when the effect goes low, I mean goes away, their happiness also goes away. Again, they will go behind drugs, right? So Prabhupada said, why do you want to do again and again? Do it once for all. Stay high forever on Harinam, right? So Prabhupada said, stay high forever on Harinam, right? So that is what we need to understand. Harinam is going to give us those effects that even drugs cannot give, right? Because you're connected to the Supreme. You're connected with Him, and that is the sweetest feeling ever one can get. Madhurya, it's called, right? Madhurya Anubhava. So that's the highest end. There's nothing else to achieve after that. So. mm just like, yeah, although you are small children, yeah, similarly, a woman can also understand transcendental knowledge and know what is spirit and what is matter. Therefore, my dear young friends born of demons, please act in such a way that Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Right? So, whatever we do should be to please the Lord. Right? Samsiddhar Haritoshanam. Atapumbir Dvijashreshtam Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Dharmasya Swanushtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhar Haritoshanam. It should all be to please the Lord, only to please the Lord, nothing else, right? Not to please ourselves, not to please our father, mother, children, family members, friends. No, no, to please the Lord, not to please your manager. Krishna is our manager, right? Our supreme manager. He is our maintainer. So we need to do everything to please the Lord. If He is pleased, we'll get everything. We don't even have to go and ask Krishna, give me that, give me this. He'll give us everything, right? We only have to please Him. So give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. See, here it's given, no? Who is a real well-wisher? A real well-wisher is a person who enlightens another person and gives them Krishna, right? That is the real point, real definition of wishing well for others. Not giving clothes or, prasadam because they are hungry. I mean, not giving food because they are hungry, not giving clothes because they do not have clothes. Okay, all these things will not free them from Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. The real problems of humankind or any living entity is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, right? Birth, death, old age, and disease. Give them something that helps them overcome these four problems. Okay, that is when you are called, you are actually wishing well for a person, right? That is when you are actually wishing well for a person. So a lot of people say, no, what is ISKCON giving back to the society? They only ask for funds, temple construction, that this, they are not giving anything in return. What are they giving back to the society? The question is, what are they giving to the society? Society is not giving them anything for ISKCON to give back, right? So, and what is ISKCON giving to the society? The ultimate way, gateway to happiness, which and that is eternal happiness. That is eternal happiness. Those who take it seriously benefit from it, right? Those who do not take it seriously will not even understand how it is. It's like looking at gulab jamun and eating gulab jamun. Person looking at it will not get the taste. The person eats it will get the taste, right? So you accept it, practice the sadhana process given to us by Srila Prabhupada, and you will see the benefit yourself. You will not even ask, right? So this is wishing well. Prahlad is saying, show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service. Tell them, give them Gita. You want to gift people? Do not gift anything else. Gift Gita, right? Just gift them. They will, whether they read it or not, it's okay. Just give it, right? Because some or the other day, when they are completely depressed, you can tell them, when you are completely depressed, when you need somebody to go and talk to, when you need a shoulder, for support or something like that, you take this book and read. Just read. You will yourself get all the support you need. right? And you never know when it just blasts, auspiciousness blasts out from Gita if they just keep it at home, right? This is the way we need to preach. Preaching is what makes us, helps us please, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna, right? Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, the dearest person to me is the one who preaches Krishna consciousness, right? Now you've got the knowledge. It's not that you have the knowledge and you will sit with it. You will have to spread the knowledge. Knowledge gets its value. The more it is spread, the more value it gives, right? So Prahlad said, I received this knowledge from the great saint Narad Muni, and now see, Prahlad received it from Narada and he's spreading it to so many people. And then he's also saying, you all also go and spread it. Yes or no? Right? So, this knowledge, which is called Bhagavata Dharma, is fully scientific. It is based on logic and philosophy and is free from all material contamination. So, the real problem of life we already discussed, right? What is it? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, right? Janma and Mrityu is the main thing. Getting out of this vicious cycle of birth and death is what is important, right? It's like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down, up and down. So this wheel completely stops when one is in touch with the supreme personality of Godhead. That is when we really get out from the cycle, right? Then we are free. Right now we are jailed, right? How do we come out of the jail? How do we get freedom? Is when you get in touch with the supreme personality of Godhead. So in other words, I mean, for this Kali Yuga, it's just chanting the holy name of the Lord. Because Kali Yuga, Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Right? In Kali Yuga, Krishna has appeared in the form of his Nama, Harinam, name, holy name of of the Lord. Right? The moment you say Krishna, Krishna is there. Right? Kali Kale Krishna, Kalikare Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Avatar, he's incarnated in the form of his name, holy name. Right? So that's how you get in touch with the Lord. Every time you chant Krishna, every time you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you are in touch with the Lord. Can you imagine? Right? So that's why you have to always be in touch with the Lord. So you need to always chant and regularize the process of chanting. Okay, that is important. And by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. Right? All the learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's heart. Very important, right? Very, very important. So what does he say? He says, he continues and says, super soul, super soul is present in our heart, right? Krishna has given himself in a localized form to everybody. We don't have to go anywhere to search for Krishna. Krishna is right within yourself, in your heart, right next to you. You are the soul, right? The soul is situated in the heart, and right next to the soul, there is super soul. So Krishna and you are just next to each other situated. But the problem is you've not turned towards him to see him, right? That is the problem. The moment we turn towards him, we get his darshan. How do we turn? Turning is through chanting, right? Chanting is the process that turns you towards the super soul. Super soul is right next to you. We don't even know that, right? We don't even know that. He is right next to us. Paramatma is right next to us, sitting in our heart. Okay? So we need to just turn, just incline, just turn and see, right? And to turn that way, you need to chant the holy name of the Lord. That is called devotional service. The more and more devotional service you do, the faster you turn and you will get to see him, right? You will get to see him. That's very important. So he is the well-wisher. So Shriti Sarva Bhutanam, Krishna says, right? He is the friend of all living entities. And so there is no difficulty in worshipping the Lord because it's very easy. You have to chant, that's all, right? You don't even need anything. Just chant, right? And why then should people not engage in devotion service? Valid question. So why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for Krishna, for sense gratification? We've forgotten Krishna. That is the problem, right? We are doing everything for ourselves. We are supposed to do it for him because whatever we have is given to us from him. We are not capable of anything, right? He says in Bhagavad Gita, I'm the ability in man, right? In 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Krishna says, I'm the ability in man, he says, right? I'm the strength in the strong. I'm the prowess of the powerful, right? I'm the intelligence in the intelligent people, right? So without him, nobody is intelligent. So he is the abstract manifestation of all, the abilities that we have. So we cannot be proud of it because nothing belongs to us. It's He who has given it to us, right? So we have to use all of that to give Him only back, not for ourselves. Like I already said, we are the enjoyed, He is the enjoyer. You cannot say, I want to enjoy. We made that mistake and we are here today suffering, right? Let's not make that again. Like, let's not make that mistake again. So Narada Muni continued, all the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by their teachers, Chanda and Amarka. See the effect, right? Positive effect. If we are positive, the effect will also be positive. It converts people. So Prahlad is a pure devotee, right? He's so pure that instantly his words had an impact on all of them, right? When we talk, maybe we are not able to convert the other person into a devotee because we ourselves are not pure. But when pure devotees speak, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy, right? Sadhu sanga sarva shastrak hoy, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. So lava matra, fraction of a second, 11th fraction of a second, right? Only 11th fraction of a second, if you, for that duration, if you associate with a pure devotee of the Lord, sarva siddhi hoy, what you get sarva siddhi, you get Krishna is the ultimate siddhi, right? Lava matra, fraction of a second, right? Just fraction of a second, but you have to associate with a pure devotee. You have to associate. So how do you associate? Where do you get pure devotees from? Anybody? How do we associate with pure devotees? Yeah, we need to keep listening. Where do you get pure devotees from? Anybody knows? You can put your answers in the chat as well. No one knows? Hmm. No one knows? I got an answer. Very nice. So, um, thinking of Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. See, yeah, that's a good answer. Thinking of Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra because Prabhupada is a pure devotee, right? So you can associate him with him just by chanting the Guru Mantra that we have, right? Namo Vishnupada Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini. That mantra, if you chant, then it is associating with Prabhupada, a pure devotee of the Lord. One more way is reading the Prabhupada's book, the purports. Purports are written by Prabhupada. His originality is there in that, right? So every time you read the purport, you are actually associating with him. Because Prabhupada says, no, I live through my books, he says. So when you read the purport, you're actually talking to him. He's talking to you. You are associating with him, right? And not only that, when you serve Guru Maharaj, right? Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj or any of the disciples of Prabhupada, they're all pure devotees. They're all pure devotees, right? And by serving them, how do you serve them? Following their instructions. What are the instructions they give you? Reach us through the temple presidents. And by listening to our temple presidents, you're actually serving the pure devotees, right? By doing so, it all connects back, right? So this way we have to serve the Lord, right? And main instructions Prabhupada has given us is chant 16 rounds a day minimum and read Prabhupada's book, eat prasadam. These three instructions is given. That's all. So easy. So easy. Eating prasadam is not difficult, right? Definitely not difficult. And chanting is not difficult either, right? You start with one round and you gradually increase, and you reach 16. It's not difficult. We have to put in efforts. That's all. That is where the problem is, right? And then what is it? Reading Prabhupada books. Is reading difficult? Reading is definitely not difficult, right? You can definitely make up 15-20 minutes a day time and then you can read, right? Read one page a day. That is more than enough, right? So by reading, eating prasadam, and by chanting, you are actually becoming closer and closer and closer to Guru, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada will take you back to Krishna. Right? So it's very easy. It's not difficult. We just have to make up our mind, decide, strongly decide, right? And then see what he converted. So everybody, all the children stopped listening to Shanda and Amarka, who are those demoniac gurus, right? Shukracharya's sons. They all of them stopped listening to them, right? And they started listening to Prahlad more, and they started doing devotional service. They are doing Harinam Sankirtan. Can you see in the picture, right? Everybody is dancing, singing the glories of the Lord, singing kirtan, bhajan, and they're dancing, right? And they have all gotten converted to Vaishnavas. Can you see the way they were demoniac with all long hair and all that unclean attitude and all that? Look at them now. They have become so nice, right? They've decorated themselves with tilak, they've tied their hair nicely, and they're wearing nice Vaishnava clothes and all that. See how beautiful it is, right? Look at the impact, look at the positivity that Prahlad has, spread everywhere. So this positivity you can spread if you are positive yourself, right? That is where you need to follow the instructions of Guru. Only when you follow, you can ask others to follow, and then that fructifies. Otherwise, it will not. People will start ignoring, right? They might not know that you are not following the instructions. Simply by itself, it will stop having effect. I have experienced, right? By itself, it stops having effect. That's where that means we are not following. Somewhere, some mistake is happening. You have to go back and introspect. That's why Prabhupada has given us the sadhana, right? It's very easy. You just have to follow that sadhana. Wake up early in the morning, 4:30, attend Mangalarati, then 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, finish your 16 rounds of japa, right? And then start with your activities. If you have time, 8 o'clock, you can attend Bhagavatam class, or it's okay. You can attend whenever you have free time, right? There are YouTube recordings and all that available. You can attend whenever you are free, right? And then along with this, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes of reading Bhagavad Gita or any scripture, Prabhupada's purpose, you need to read, right? 20 minutes every day. And then eating prasadam. What is so difficult in this? This is the sadhana process given to us by Prabhupada. And if you follow this sincerely, properly, in a disciplined manner, then you will start seeing the results, right? Prabhupada says, no, cling on to my dhoti, I will take you to Goloka. I have the key to the back door of Goloka and I will take you. When he says, he will take, right? But for that, we have to cling on to his dhoti. How do you cling on to his dhoti? By following his instructions, by following the sadhana process, which is so easy, right? It's not difficult at all, right? Now, what has happened? Prahlad completes his schooling and all that, and he goes back home. Okay, so he goes back home for probably some holidays or something. He goes back home, and Hiranyakashipu starts asking him. Okay, he's just 5 years old. Okay, so Hiranyakashipu starts conversing with him and says, "So, Prahlad, what did you learn in your school?" Okay, so So here it says, so Prahlad, my dear king Yudhishthira, once upon a time the king of demons Hiranyakashipu took his son Prahlad on his lap and very affectionately inquired, my dear son, please let me know what do you think is the best of all the subjects you have studied from your teachers. So he starts having a conversation with his son and he says, how was school and all that? What did you learn and all? Now the question is, what is the best thing that you've learned from your teachers? Right? And what did Prahlad say? So Hiranyakashipu is in a, he thinks, okay, fine, my son has learned from the gurus that I have delegated, and now he's come, to come home. So now he doesn't even know what happened in Gurukul, right? So Prahlad starts saying, Tatsadu manye asura varnya dehina sada samudvigna diyam asad hitvatma patam grihamanda kupa vanam gata yad dharim ashrayeta. Okay, so this means now, when Prahlad spoke about the path of self-realization in devotional service, thus being faithful to the camp of his father's enemies, Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, heard Prahlad's words and he laughingly said, "Such is the intelligence of children spoiled by the words of the enemy." He starts talking about self-realization. Okay, and he starts talking about the supreme goal of life, that is to offer devotional service to the Lord, right? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yata bhaktir adokshade. Haituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So we have to offer, that is the supreme goal, that is the supreme occupation, that is the only job we have, in simple words. That is the only job we have in this material world. The only job we have is to offer devotional service to the Lord. If you're doing anything else other than that, that means you're not doing your duty. Okay, so Prahlad is talking about all this self-realization and everything. And Hiranyakashipu starts laughing and said, okay, my enemy has spoiled you. Who is his enemy? Vishnu, right? The Lord. The Lord is Hiranyakashipu's enemy, and he says, okay, my enemy has spoiled you. So Hiranyakashipu starts, ordering his assistants to say that, my dear demons, give complete protection to this boy at the Gurukul, where he is instructed, so that his intelligence will not be further influenced by Vaishnavas, who may go there in disguise. So Hiranyakashipu is thinking, okay, maybe some Vaishnavas have gone there in disguise, and started educating him about Vishnu and all that, and that's how my son is getting spoiled. That is what Hiranyakashipu is thinking. He doesn't know that Prahlad himself is a Vaishnava. He is a Maha Vaishnava, right? A Mahajan, one of the best devotees out of, there are 12 Mahajans, right? And Hiranyakashipu is one of, Prahlad is one of them. He's a Maha Vaishnava, right? What do you call? He's a ideal role model for all the Vaishnavas, right? So Hiranyakashipu doesn't know that. So when after the holidays, when Prahlad goes back to Gurukul, Hiranyakashipu is saying, all of you go there and guard my son, give him protection, right? And then, oh Brahmana, as iron attached by magnetic stone moves automatically towards the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, is attracted to Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus, I have no independence. So Prahlad is saying, see how wonderfully Prahlad is talking, right? What is he saying? He's saying, just like how magnet attracts an iron, right? Without iron's control, iron starts getting attracted to magnet, right? Because of the magnet's electromagnetic field and all that, right? So, same way, Prahlad is saying, my mind is also getting attracted to Vishnu without any knowledge, without my knowledge, right? He's just pulling me, attracting me towards him. I'm not even, I don't even have, any decision making ability here. I'm completely dependent on him. I've lost my independence. Lord Vishnu is attracting my mind, right? So how beautifully Krishna is explaining. See, Krishna means, the word Krishna means, the meaning of the word Krishna means all attractive. Okay. He is like supreme magnet, he is attracting everybody, all attractive. Still, we are not getting attracted to him. Why? We are not chanting the holy names. We are not at all getting attracted to the holy names of the Lord. Anybody knows? Iron should get attracted to magnet, right? Why is iron not getting attracted to magnet? Nobody knows? No one knows? Because the iron has fully rusted. Right? When rust is there, rust means impurities, right? The iron is fully coated with rust. Magnet will not attract iron that easily because of the impurities. The rust covers the iron. The iron properties of the properties of iron is covered by the rust. We are all rusted same way. We are all so rusted, so much impurities, lust, anger, greed, envy, what not, cheating, right? What not? Every kind of bad habit, bad quality is there in us today, right? We cannot go and say, no, I'm fully perfect, I'm very good. No, nobody can say that, right? Nobody can say that. Why? Because of so many bad qualities, impurities. These impurities have, we have rusted with these impurities. That's why Krishna is not able to attract us. We need to cleanse ourselves. How do you cleanse? Chanting the holy name. Only when you chant the holy name of the Lord, systematically, we need to sit and chant the holy name of the Lord. Then, round by round, when you chant, one day Krishna will be pleased, and you'll start, the cleansing process starts right away, right, at the moment when you start sitting and chanting systematically, right? When you chant and listen to the holy name attentively when you chant and all that, then you will start, the cleansing process will start. You'll start losing impurities, you'll become pure. As more and more you become purified, then Krishna will attract you. He will start attracting you. You will see that to yourself, right? And that's what Prahlad is also saying. We are not getting attracted, but he is getting attracted because he is great, right? He is a great devotee. Chanda and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways and began teaching him about the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educated him. You can see, right? Nothing. It's about how to chastise people, threaten people, how to murder people, how to take money from them, how to, all this is like nonsense, right? So this is what Chanda and Amarka were teaching them. This is what Hiranyakashipu had set in as the syllabus, right? This is nonsense. So, but what did Prahlad did do? He converted all of this into Vaishnava science, right? So after some time, the teachers Chanda and Amarka thought that Prahlad Maharaj was sufficiently educated in the diplomatic affairs of pacifying public leaders, appeasing them by giving them lucrative posts, dividing and ruling, see, right, and punishing them in cases of disobedience. Then one day, after Prahlad's mother had personally washed the boy and dressed him nicely with sufficient ornaments, they presented him before his father. So now the gurus thought, okay, fine, the education is over. Prahlad is educated. Now he can go back home. Okay, so they send him home. Okay, so now the mother gives him bath and dresses him up and all that. Now again, Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu will start having a conversation. They are father and son, right? So they keep having conversation. This time, what happens? Hiranyakashipu saw that the child had fallen at his feet and was offering obeisances. That's how, no, it's Pitru Dharma. Like that's how a son has to behave in front of the father. Go touch his feet and take blessings and all that, right? So Prahlad also did the same thing, right? And then Hiranyakashipu took him with both arms, hugged him, and then said, obviously the fatherly affection starts, right? So Hiranyakashipu was very happy seeing him. And then what happens? Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad is sitting on the lap of Hiranyakashipu, and he starts, crying. Hiranyakashipu starts crying out of happiness because he is now so Prahlad is sitting on his lap and all that, right? So as a father, he is crying out of happiness, and then he asks the child, right? So what did you learn? Again, your teachers were praising you and all that, right? And now, Hiranyakashipu says, what did you learn from your teachers, right? What does Prahlad say? Shravanam kirtanam vishnu smaranam pada sevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atmanivedanam iti pumsharpita vaishno bhaktische navalakshanaha kriyate bhagavati adha tanmanye aditam uttamam. Right? So, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the 9 processes of devotion service. These are the 9 ways in which you devote yourself to the Lord. Right? If you say I'm offering devotion service to the Lord, whatever way you're offering should fall in these 9 ways, 9 processes. Otherwise, what you're doing is not devotion service. Right? So chanting is Shravanam and Kirtanam, right? And remembering when you have to narrate some pastime to somebody, some story to your children or something. What do? You remember the pastime and you start narrating. So smaranam, right? Or you remember the Lord's face, Lord's form, different forms, right? Narasimha has a different form, Vamana has a different form, Vara has a different form. Remembering, just bringing that form in your mind is smaranam. Thinking about the Lord, smaranam, right? Anything with remembering, thinking, that is all smaranam. Pada Sevanam, walking to the temple, doing parikrama, Tulsi parikrama, temple parikrama, right? The circumambulating. What is that called? Parikrama or pradakshina, they say, right? And or washing the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas or gurus, right? All this is coming under Pada Sevanam. Archanam is deity worship, right? Doing Abhishekam for the Lord, dressing up the Lord, offering garlands to the Lord, right? This is all Archanam. And then even offering bhoga to the Lord to eat his prasadam. All that is Archanam. Then Vandanam is just praying, joining your hands and praying in front of the Lord, right? That is Vandanam. Then Dasyam is serving the Lord, right? Like Hanuman, he served the Lord as a servitor, right? And then Sakyam, making friendship with the Lord, right? Developing friendship, like Arjuna. Then Atmanivedanam is giving yourself to the Lord, Bali Maharaj. We will be learning about Bali Maharaj next. After Narasimha, it's Vamana Avatar, and there we will be learning about Atmanivedanam, right? So Prahlad says, this is what I learned in Gurukul, the 9 processes of devotion service, right? And then the remaining part of the conversation we will see in the next class. So Narasimha Avatar, lots to learn. So we might take the next class as well. Okay. Yeah, in Ramayana, Rama requested Indra to revive the lives of monkeys who gave up their life for a good cause. They were all revived. Touch of a pure devotee will enliven us towards love for Krishna. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji, Giridhar Prabhuji, you had something to share, right?
Yes, Mataji, I'll share a number.
Yeah, you can share. So there is a small, uh, there is a small presentation and then we can wind up. You're the co-host, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Do you all are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hope you all know that our temple is being constructed and it is reaching its final stage of its completion, and it is going to be opened by our Guru Maharaj on Balarama Day, right? So I've already sent a message. We all have been sending messages regarding this in the group. Hope you all must have seen the messages there. And the for the construction messages, uh, instead of what I thought was, instead of me describing about the slides, we thought I can make it as an interactive session, right? So, what do you all think about why we need temple, and what is the reason for having a temple in the society? Can anybody share your thoughts on this? Yeah, uh, I would like to quote from Bhagavad Gita, right? In Arjuna verse 1.39, Bhagavad Gita, first chapter 39 to 43, he laments for the five, he gives five reasons, right? Compassion, indecision, sinful action, no enjoyment, and falling of dynasty. Why does he say that the dynasty, he is worried about falling of the dynasty? It is because head of the state, right? And if all heads of the family are killed in the battle, there will be none to guide the next generation, right? For us, the head of the family is very important, right? Our parents, our ancestors, we follow their tradition, we follow their culture, right? And if they are not there to guide us, it will be the world. We cannot imagine a world without spiritual leaders and head of the families, right? And Krishna is master of the universe, and for him, and our main position is like we are servant of servitors, right? We are Krishna's servant, eternal servants of Lord Krishna, and we have come a long way from Goloka to this material world, wanting to enjoy the material sense gratification. And here, even if we don't have if we live a life without a head of a family, a head of a state or a family, our life will be chaos, right? And this remembrance temple will remind us to be humble, to lead a simple life, to devote our life surrounding the centering Lord, Supreme Lord, absolute truth, right? So, temple is very much important for us. And ISKCON has been constructing temples since the time it has been established by Prabhupada. Prabhupada has constructed around more than 108 temples, uh, and uh, our NND Prabhuji, talking about NND Prabhuji, Prabhuji has been the president for ISKCON Temple for almost close to 20 to 25 years, uh, teaching in the college about spiritual courses and so on. And we did not have a temple, first of all. And come Corona during 2019, when we were all in darkness, not knowing what to do. And we came across this course, Bhagavad Gita, right? It was run by Prabhuji's team, NNT Namanishta Das Prabhuji's team. And we learned a lot. We have come a long way, learning all the programs, all free of cost. And it is the time for us to show our gratitude to NND Prabhuji. Prabhuji has spent his life serving Krishna and serving the society. And we have to somehow support Prabhuji for us for this wonderful cause. So I request everyone to freely, liberally donate for the cause of the temple. And it is our temple, right? So we need to do whatever is possible from our side, be it a small amount based on our condition of life. Let us donate whatever is possible from our side. And we let us now see what Vedas and Puranas and scriptures are talking about donations, right? And first of all, yeah, uh, Mataji, how do I disable the menu, Mataji? I'm not able to see, read properly. Yeah, one second. Yeah. A person who donates to a temple for construction or renovation so many thousands of years will be able to reside in the heavenly planet. Forget about sins and so on. It is our utmost responsibility to have a temple wherever we live. In one of the oldest language, Tamil, right? I don't know how many people know Tamil here. And one of the oldest, which is one of the oldest language, there is a proverb saying that do not live in a place where there is no temple at all. So make sure that we have a proper temple and we reside in the vicinity of the temple so that our ancestors followed this path, and let us also follow the same path. And now, having done online courses, we will extend our support to NND Prabhuji by donating for the cause. The sense yeah, as I said, a person who donates to a temple for a construction or renovation, so many thousands, he'll be able to reside in the heavenly planets, right? And yeah, devotees who help to construct temples are freed from sins of thousands of births. Departed soul of a devotee who contributed towards temple construction will reach the abode of Lord Vishnu, thus escaping from the sufferings to be undergone in the hell. One who killed a Brahmana can be nullified through donation for a temple cause. Our kings and warriors in the past, in the centuries beyond, in a millennium, they have all constructed a temple based on the guidance of a spiritual guru, having killed so many souls in the battle. Though all the departed souls who are being killed in the battle gets Vaikuntha or reach heavenly planets, still it is a sin for the kings, right? What they did was they constructed temples throughout the world, right? And uh, throughout the world, yeah. It is said in Agni Purana. This is being said in Agni Purana. Did I miss anything here? What Narsimha Purana? Yeah. Padma Purana. What does Padma Purana say? Mortals who help to construct a temple of Lord Vishnu do not return to this world. They return to the eternal abode of Lord Vishnu. And Narsimha Purana. One who builds or helps to build a beautiful temple for the Lord will be free from all sinful reactions and will enter the Vaikuntha planet. All the Puranas, all the scriptures and Puranas say that we must have a temple, and then the society surrounding the temple must help for the cause, for all the causes. Just by starting the construction of a temple for Lord Krishna, sins committed in 7 births will be wiped out, and one will deliver his forefathers who are suffering in the hellish planet. Skanda Purana, given in Skanda Purana, referred by Skanda Purana. And Srila Prabhupada, if you build a temple of Lord Krishna in this world, he will build a palace for you in the spiritual world. Example, we can give an example, Bali Maharaj, which Mataji has already taken us in the Bali Maharaj, right? So, Lord Vamana appeared in dwarf form and asked for 3 boons by Bali Maharaj, and which he gave. And in return, Krishna became um, a gatekeeper in one of the worlds, Maharloka. If I'm not wrong, it is not Maharloka. Atala Vitala Batala.
Sutala.
Yeah,
Sutalaloka.
yeah, in that loka. So, and then temple means people. Temple means people should come, people should learn, and this temple that is being constructed by NNT Naminatha Das Prabhuji in Mangalore, Kulai, Mangalore, is not going to be a place of worship. It is also going to be a university where people will be trained on various spiritual courses. Temple means spiritual education shelter. Temple people should come there, should learn what is spiritual life, what is God, what is my relationship with Him, and that is temple. We can also go to the temple to ISKCON Mangalore and then get involved in devotional services, right? And yeah, the reason why do we need a temple? We need a temple to purify our souls, right? The temple helps us change our bad habits and behavior through change of our love. Temple provides a community centered on principle of love and affection, absolutely. And Bangalore is one such temple. Engagement. Temple provides many opportunities to engage our skills and abilities in the service of the Lord. Tranquility. Spiritually surcharged atmosphere in the temple at once soothes the mind. As soon as whatever that we have in our mind, right? So we go there, we may not have good friends around, and so we may not share anything to anybody here, but we go to the temple, transfer all our sorrows to the Lord. And when we come out of the temple, we are free without any problems, right? So, education, temple is a spiritual university meant to impart divine knowledge and values. And medication, temple is the hospital to cure the disease of the mind. I can give n number of real life examples, right? Medication, and where people who have not have child for more than 20 years have born child um, after after visiting temple and being in the temple, right? So they go to the temple, stay in the temple for a couple of days, and then come back. And my own example I can give: my brother-in-law was not well with liver issues. He went to an allopathy doctor who had given him wrong medications. If he had not gone to this doctor, he could have lived without liver transplant for 20 years. But what happened was, due to the bad treatment of this particular doctor, he became ill and his liver got failure in 3 years, in 3 months' time, right, last year. And we were looking for a liver transplant, and we could not find anybody. And we were every time the hospital used to call us for a checkup, regular checkup, saying that there is a donor available, and that would not match for my brother-in-law. Finally, my niece went to Guruvayur Krishna temple, right? During that particular time, when she was there in the temple, she got a call from the hospital saying that there is a donor available, and you are fifth in line. Fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know. Unfortunate for others, he was at 1 o'clock at 1 a.m. in the morning. It was decided that he would undergo liver transplant the next day. Right? It is all miracle by the Lord. That is why temple is the hospital to cure the disease of the mind and disease health. And I think you know. One second. And there are various sevas that are available in the temple, right? Anybody, based on our conditions of life, we can donate for various sevas. Take up any sevas that we want and donate. And we can also do it as a group. And in one of the other batch that Mataji has been taking, the Saturday 7 p.m. batch, there are already 5 to 6 devotees who have already donated. Uh, I don't know about the amount in total. So we can take up any service as a group and then donate. And Prabhupada, there are deity kitchen sevas, lifts, Prabhupada altar seva, generator seva, inlays on marble, guest room houses, marble railings. This guest room houses, Mataji has already uh, uh, explained in the beginning, right? There are 32 rooms, and if anybody takes up the service, they'll get a month stay of. They can stay for a month in the temple, get involved in all the services, render service to Lord Krishna, marble railings. chandelier seva, CCTV seva, and projector in audience seva, auditorium seva, chairs, deity dress room seva, altar deity door seva, puja room seva, father sevanam, shayana room seva, where the Lord will be put to sleep every day at night. Pallaki seva, Jaya Vijaya pillar inside the temple pillars, Garuda and human pillars, 2 lakhs each. We need not take up individual. If we want to take up, we can take up, or else we can do it as a group. Combine everybody in this particular group, contribute whatever that is possible from each one of us, and then transfer that to NND Prabhuji's account. Yeah. Rupa, Sanadana, Jiva, Gopala Bhatta, Raghunatha Bhatta, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami pillars, Udupi Krishna marble portrait, Narsimha marble portrait, Dasavatar paintings, various paintings here, Chaitanya Leela paintings, front pillars, and yeah, and these are the savers that are available. And this is the bank account details which will be shared in the group, and you can use any of the payment method, right? Wire transfer, UPI transfer, and you can transfer. Yeah, I don't know whether you can pay by check. Yeah, you can use any of the modes to transfer method. That's all for now. So over to you, Mataji.
Haribol. Yeah, so this is the importance of temples, right? So Prabhupada used to say, no, Prabhupada always says in his purpose also. He says like how we have hospitals to cure the material diseases that we have, cancer and all this. Same way, we have temples to cure the material illness that we have, right? That is to incline us towards spirituality. So temple is also similar to hospital, right? And the real life example that Prabhuji gave, wonderful. It's so miraculous, right? So do anything that you can, anything, like even a penny makes a difference, right? Because we are planning to open, NND Prabhuji is planning on opening the temple for Balram Jayanti, and it's not far, right? After Gaura Purnima comes Balram Jayanti. So we anything, any amount that you can, no amount is small and big. So just transfer it to NND Prabhuji's account, because we are learning so much from NND Prabhuji, right? So many courses, IDC course, other centers are charging 500 rupees. We are giving it free of cost. Any course, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, nothing is awarded free of cost in other centers. But NND Prabhuji is so merciful. He is giving us every course free of cost, right? Even Sadachar course, the one that we are taking up now, it's all certified courses. None of the certified courses are free of cost, right? At least most of the centers do not give it for free of cost, right? So NND Prabhuji is doing it. So what are we giving back? That's the question, right? What are we giving back to him? So let's not always take. Let's give back also sometimes. So whatever possible, there is no amount big or small. Everything is important. Everything is valuable. So you're giving it to Krishna. So Krishna also says, right? Yat karoshi yat juhosi dadasi yat juhosi. That means whatever giving in charity, give it as an offering unto me, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So let's do our part. Okay. So the details will be posted in the group as well. And you can just donate and send a screenshot to Giridhar Prabhuji, or just tell that you've donated so and so amount, so that we can give you the receipt. Okay. This receipt will also help you with IT filing and all that. You can get ID redemption, income tax redemption. Okay. So we can send you the receipt as soon as possible. So just um, take this to your heart, or inform others. Take it to people, right? Take it to people. Get people to donate, right? If you can't, or if you can donate small amount, take it to people, your friends, family members, relatives, colleagues, right? Tell them there is something good happening. Let's re-establish Sanatan Dharma. Okay, donate for a good cause, right? So motivate them. Tell them all the shastric evidences that we have. What is a temple? Why do we need temple and all that? And then motivate them. Get them to donate as well. Okay, so this is very important, because when you donate for a temple, Krishna says no in 12th chapter Bhagavad Gita, just help in temple construction and you will get Agnata Sukriti. That means whoever helps in donating for temple constructions, they get Agnata Sukriti, through which they get Krishna going forward. So you are helping them get Krishna. Can you imagine, by asking them to donate? And if they donate, they will get Krishna. It's like confirmed. They will get. Slowly they will get, right? So please do get yourselves involved in it, and let's pay gratitude to NND Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Any questions? Any doubts? Anybody? Nothing? Nothing? Then we can end. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Antakoti Vaishnav ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Prabhuji, you have anything to say?
No, Mataji. Just wanted to say Hare Krishna. That's all.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you all.